Welcome to the second edition of the English Department News for the fall semester.
My name is Matej Borkov.
And I'm Vivian Satmari.
Not much news to report this month, except that the deadline of the subtotal result is actually today on November 14th. So if you haven't turned it in now, you're probably not going to graduate this semester.
Otherwise, the TDK conference is next Thursday on the 20th of November. Oh, and you're gonna present yours, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We'll see what happens.
At this conference, it is decided who will go to the national conference in Pilisjava in the spring. It could be everybody.
Or nobody.
The only other news is that the exam session for graduating students runs from now until Miskolc.
Oh, there's another news item we forgot. The competition for secondary school students, do you know your town or region will hold its final round on December the 5th.
And now, I would like to bring you an interview with Pataki Eva, a new teacher in the department. And now, let me introduce Eva Pataki, who is the new teacher of the English department. Welcome to our university, Miss Pataki.
Hello, it's really nice to be here.
As I know, you graduated here in 1997. How do you feel about returning to the place where you studied?
Well, it's a great feeling. You know, 20 years ago, that's a lot of time. And things have changed a lot, but it was so good to see teachers who taught me back then. And it's quite an ambivalent feeling because you were a student here. I was 18, I was just a kid, and I'm here. And my old teachers are my colleagues now. So it's always strange, but it's always a very good feeling.
You mentioned changes. What kind of changes do you notice?
Well, the building looks much better. I think the facilities are much nicer. The rooms are more, better equipped, and I feel that it's because of all the technological changes. It's maybe easier to teach or easier to learn, or there are more opportunities and more ways to learn, and I really like that. And when I was here, we had the resource centre somewhere on this floor, and it's not here now. I really liked being there, but I like the new library. I think it's really nice, and there are loads of books that I can use and you can use there. So that's a good change for me, definitely.
Well, that's good. And what have you done in the past 17 years?
Oh, first I worked in secondary school. So when I graduated here, I started working as a teacher of English, and I did that for quite a long time. And then I started to do my MA in Debrecen, in distance learning, because there were some regulations that you needed an MA to teach in secondary school. And when I finished that, I had a feeling I wanted to learn some more. And so I decided to go for a PhD. So in the past 5 years, I've been studying very hard for that. And if all goes well, I'm going to have my defense in sometime December or January.
Oh, it sounds great.
So it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of learning, but I do enjoy learning, and it's given me a lot. And the best thing about it is that the foundations of all this were laid here. So when I come back here, I can feel how much I've travelled from 1997 to here. There's been so many things going on, and it's such a good feeling that I returned here.
Great. And you mentioned the secondary schools. Can you compare teaching in secondary schools and in university?
Well, yes, definitely. I feel that at university students are much more interested in what I say. And this is a very good thing. Another thing, in secondary school, you're a bit like a mum, not just a teacher, or at least this is the way I do it. And here you don't really have to be a mum, you don't have to be that caring. You do have that personal relationship with the students, which I think is very important, to be on good terms, to listen to one another, to cooperate. In secondary school, I think there's usually a bigger distance between the students, but some teachers like me get closer to the students and have good relationships and listen to their problems and stuff. and here, maybe because I'm teaching adults, so part-time MA students, there was no request of, you know, listening to their problems. They didn't really ask me to be something like a mum figure. So that is different. But I feel that this atmosphere is much more liberating. It's not all about discipline and not all about homework, but creative work, and I think this is very, very important.
Okay, great. And when did you decide to become a teacher, and why did you choose this profession?
Okay, it's funny, I decided when I graduated because all along I wanted to be a writer and a translator, and when I got my degree I needed a job, so I started teaching, and in a few months I realized this is what I really like doing, because it involves all sorts of things that I like, communicating with people, discussing ideas. There was a bit of actress in me, so that's very good if you're a teacher because all eyes are on you. So I just got hooked, and since then all I wanted to do was to teach. So maybe not too many people think this way today because it's not a very easy profession, but I think there's a lot of reward in it, and it's really challenging, and I like challenges.
That's good. And what is your favorite subject to teach, and why?
My most favorite subject to teach is obviously literature. I wrote my dissertation on contemporary British Asian literature, and because I like reading a lot and I like thinking about texts, I really like when I can discuss with students what they think about different texts. And I think it's a lot different from what we did in secondary school, when we had to, you know, learn everything about the author and they told us what to think about certain things. And now, 20 years later, I have the opportunity to discuss, to listen to different ideas and interpretations. And I really like the way different people interpret different texts, and I really like a bit of debate or trying to find consensus, which is not something that you definitely have to do. It's good if everyone has a different opinion, and I think it's really invigorating. It's really a good thing if you can sit down and discuss something that you're passionate or enthusiastic about. So literature is the one for me, definitely.
And what interests do you pursue outside of the classroom except for literature?
It's a good question. In the past few years I didn't have time for any interests or hobbies. So reading is my hobby, but it would be really nice if I could read a book without, you know, having the pencil in my hand and thinking about how I would write about it. I also like singing a lot, and I like walking in nature. Because I spend most of my time sitting at home writing and learning, it's really good to go outside and, you know, just sit down, enjoy the sunshine, look at the trees and stuff. So basically this is all I've had time for in the past few years. But I also like creative stuff, so I don't know, making jewellery or knitting. But I think I will have to wait until I retire to have time for that.
That's nice. And what are you currently reading for enjoyment?
For enjoyment? Nothing. Well, I am preparing for my doctoral exam. I've got 15 books to read and try to remember. I wouldn't say that I'm not enjoying it, but this is more work than nothing. But there's a book I reread all the time, convincing myself that it is necessary for work, but I do it because I enjoy it. And that's White Teeth by Zadie Smith. I don't know if you know it, it's one of my favourite books. And each time I read it, there's a new layer that I realise or I come to see. I really like the humour in it, and it's always a joy to read.
And finally, do you have any special plans for the future?
Plans. I've learned that plans don't always, you know, come true. But I do have plans. I would really love to get a permanent job at university because this is what I've been working for in the past years. So my plan is to teach at a university level, to have contact lessons. which I would really enjoy, and in the distant future I hope I will have some time to write, because that's something I enjoy. I mean, write fiction. That's like a big dream.
Great plans. Thank you, Ms. Pataki, and thank you for your attention. I went to each of the 5 TDK contestants and asked them the same question. Why did you decide to write a TDK?
Well, I've decided to write a TDK because I'm very interested in the topic I've chosen, and I want to study the connection between poetry and music.
Okay, thank you. And are you nervous?
A little bit.
Okay, thank you very much. Why did you decide to write a TDK?
It's a really good question. I asked myself the same several times during writing, partly because I found an interesting topic which I wanted to investigate, and we were also encouraged by our teachers. So it seemed a good choice to write one.
Okay, thank you. And are you nervous?
A little bit.
Okay. Why did you decide to write a TDK?
Because I think that it's a good opportunity to practice my presentation skills and practice for my thesis. Fortunately, I found an interesting topic which I could write about.
Okay, thank you. And are you nervous?
Yes, I am very nervous.
Okay, thank you very much.
We are here with Emily Tori, and I would like to ask, why did you decide to write a TDK?
I thought it is a good practice for the thesis, and it also may be fun. So this is why.
Okay, and are you nervous?
Yes, a little bit, but I am doubled.
Okay, thank you for answering.
Mate, why did you decide to write a TDK?
Well, I wanted to write a TDK because I really liked my topic. I really like phonetics and phonology, and I felt like it's important to do something like that before writing the Sagdalbullet. So basically, that's why I decided to write it.
And are you nervous?
A little bit, yeah, because it's a competition and we're going to be evaluated, therefore, well, a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.